Hello, everyone. Welcome back to WuhooPoints Season 2, Episode 11. We're almost wrapping up the end of the year, but we have some still new, innovative, and cool products coming out in the points and miles space. So I have Carissa here with Rove. She'll tell a little bit more about herself and Rove during this session. But yeah, stay tuned just for this exciting things. But Carissa, welcome to the podcast. One question I like to ask everyone is, what's the coolest trip you've taken using points and miles?
Um, Honestly, I've done quite a lot, but I'll tell you probably a little recency bias.
Mhm.
So I just went to the Maldives about a month ago. I was
Awesome.
using I was using travel voucher, so that part technically wasn't points and miles, but I had redeemed 42,500 AA miles to go from London to Male. Uh, and the original routing was London, Abu Dhabi, Colombo, Male.
Mhm.
And then the day before my flight, there were erupts, and the London Abu Dhabi leg was delayed. So 42,500 for business. So the Etihad, who I was flying with, emailed me and gave me the option to change my flight, obviously, because I was going to misconnect. Um, and so I went on there and I changed it to London, Abu Dhabi, Male. So I cut out a leg, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then I get to the airport and I'm not able to check into the second leg of my flight. And I go to the gate agent, I go to the lounge agent, I go to the gate agent. No one is able to do it. And the reason is because American had issued the first ticket and Etihad had issued the second ticket.
Mhm.
But they felt so bad about my situation that they upgraded me to first class
Wow.
on the A380, the apartment
You got to
from
be in the apartment. That's crazy.
from London to Abu Dhabi. And I was like, they were like, we're so sorry, miss. And I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, so it was very cool. I got to take the shower, I got the pajamas, I got the whole shebang, and I just felt so cool. I did make it eventually. Like I had to sprint to the gate in Abu Dhabi and they had to like reopen the flight. It was a whole thing. But I made all of my legs of my flight and I got a free first class upgrade, even though I had booked using my A miles. So
Yeah.
it
I
was
mean,
really
that is
cool.
insane value, 42,500 points. I mean, a little bit of stress, but for thousands
It
of
was
dollars.
it was a little bit of cardio, a little bit of stress, but you know what? Like the trade-off, totally worth it. So
Well,
yeah.
thank you for sharing that story. I hope people are inspired to just, go for that trip and, find where it takes you. But let's talk now more about Rove. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
It it's a kind of a recent disruption, and you also have some new announcements even just this week. And for those listening, let's just say they only know about shopping portals. I feel like Rove is a shopping portal on steroids, especially in the hotel space. But I want to take it from your perspective. What's like your quick overview about what Rove does, why it's beneficial for points and miles people?
Yeah. So I'll say this. We have had so much commentary about Rove being a shopping portal slash travel platform, and we're trying really hard to kind of reframe that as a flexible reward currency, as a loyalty program. Because, and it's kind of hard because the way that you earn miles is via our shopping portal and our travel platform. But so Rove is a flexible, Rove miles are flexible reward currency. Rove is a platform where you can book travel on rovemiles.com, or you can use our online shopping platform or Chrome extension to like Rakuten to like earn Rove miles on your shopping.
Yeah.
Differentiate or our differentiator. So we are not tied to the need for a credit card. So, like traditionally, like American Express, Capital One, Citi, etc., you'll need to have a credit card in order to earn transferable rewards or flexible rewards. Rove does away with that. So it's really good for people who are very into points and miles and already have too many credit cards. It's also really good for people who don't have any credit cards because maybe they don't have the credit for it or anything like that. So it's like a really good mix for everybody, basically. Another differentiator, well, now we have a bunch of them. Okay. But our in the beginning, our other differentiator, right? It's hard, is that you can earn like so many rewards on everything you do. So our shopping platform, I'll start with that. It's the easiest one. We have 13,000 stores between our Chrome extension and our website. Next closest competitor, Rakuten, is 3,300. So it's like not even in the same realm.
Not even a
Um, yeah, it's really cool. You gotta check cashback. I go on there every day just to soothe my ego. I'm like, that's right. Like, I
yeah.
scroll through and make sure nobody's like approaching our numbers. So yeah, so we have like a way more stores than everybody else. And then of course, our hotel platform, on our hotel side, we have two ways that you can book hotels. We've got our Rove rates, and our Rove rates, we advertise up to 25 miles per dollar spent. In reality, it's like I've seen as high as like 60, you know what I mean? So 60 miles per dollar spent, and they compare that to the best you'll get anywhere else, say like a Capital One Venture X card is like 10x
Mhm.
on their actual shopping
Yeah,
or their
first
travel
off,
portal.
that's it. All you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got that. And then we also have now loyalty eligible, which is the ability to book Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, any sort of like large scale hotel chain on rovemiles.com. It counts as a direct booking. It shows up immediately in your app. So you get Elite Night credits, Elite Night status, Elite Night benefits, blah, 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 blah. And so that stacks. So you get like 5x Rove miles per dollar spent on loyalty eligible. Plus, as a, say you're a globalist, as a globalist, you get all of your globalist points, extra 30% per dollar spent on that as that plus whatever card you pay with, right? Last week we we updated it, so now you're paying at the hotel. So any co-branded like hotel credit card you have, you're gonna get your maximum amount of rewards earned. So for example, like the Hilton Honors Aspire card is I think 14 Hilton points per dollar spent. So it's
All.
like an insane quantity of points that you can get. So
Yeah.
that's that. And then, of course, once you've earned all those miles, sorry, that was not a quick overview. Once you earn all your miles, you can then choose to redeem in platform or transfer to our partners.
Yeah, no, I want to harp on that a little bit more because I usually tell people not to use third-party portals because of that, right? If you have Hyatt, Marriott status, you're not gonna get any of that. You're not, it might not even be cheaper in some instances. But in this case, right, I think that loyalty transfer is super important for a lot of people. And then also just that triple dip is amazing.
Like it's so cool. And like it again, and I think there's a lot of like, because it's hard to understand because no one else has done it before, right? So how do we make it work? How does a third party platform do direct booking? It's just we've negotiated a way to make it so that, and that's why the earn rates are lower, is because the commission is so much lower on that.
Yeah.
But we've negotiated a way to make it work so that it is not, they don't see that you've come from ovemile.com. They don't see it. It is a direct booking. Like that's done. But yeah, so that's Rove sort of in a really big nutshell.
Yeah,
So.
and so like it's solving quite a number of problems, right? That loyalty piece that we talked about, just being able to earn miles without credit cards, because your competitors again, like Rakuten we've mentioned, or um, Cashback Monitor, it's just that fixed cash. Rakuten is the only one that allows you to transfer to American Express reward points. Then you can be flexible. But here, like you're making the partnership directly with these airlines, which is really cool. I think that's how you guys started up, was that pitch. Um, what other like I don't know pain points do you feel like are being solved with Rove?
I mean, I think we've done a really good job already, of things like restricting benefits with loyalty eligible, having access. I'm like you, like everybody here, am very, very deep in the points and miles space. So I long ago ran out of the ability to get new credit card sign up bonuses. And now I live in New York, but I previously lived in California. So I am not in an MS friendly location. Manufacturer spending is super difficult for me.
Yeah,
So in this way, I'm able to generate a lot of miles, a lot of transferable rewards without, actually for the first time in years. So that's a really big one for me. The fact that I'm not paying extra fees to try and make up some sort of rent so that I can, you know what I mean? Like I have regained the ability to have a large quantity of transferable rewards without needing to do any sort of shenanigans, and I don't have to buy points.
yeah,
So
and
yeah.
especially in an environment where there all these different cards out there, all these different flying pieces. At least now you can just focus on okay, Rove. You have all the stores basically. It sounds like compared to anyone
Yeah.
else. So that's like kind of your one stop shop.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the transferable currencies, one that was recently announced is the Lufthansa Miles and More. And I'm already writing about it, but I want to get kind of your perspective. Like, I'm just so curious, how are you able to do that? Because for those people that don't know, you can't transfer any points to Lufthansa, and they have some really great deals. I actually just saw one 88 points economy from
Yeah.
US to Germany, right? Like not 88,000, not 88 points. So it's going to be very lucrative.
Yeah.
But like, how did that happen? What's like the cool thing about it?
So the reason that Miles and More doesn't have US transfer partners. So it used to, way back in the day, it used to have US transfer partners. And then there was a lawsuit in Germany, and I'm not a lawyer, but from my understanding, there was a lawsuit in Germany that basically the interpretation came down that you're not allowed to sell miles. And so with sort of like credit card issuers and banks that allowed you to transfer into miles and more, that was the equivalent of like selling miles, and so they got completely banned. Obviously, there's been some like finagling on Miles and Moore's end because they've got some like bundles and things that gets around it, but
Yeah.
that's sort of the reason why it hasn't been a transfer partner for such a long time. Enter Rove,
Mhm.
which doesn't have a credit card or a debit card. And so actually, I don't know if you know, but Rove was originally was ideated as a Gen Z credit card. Before launch, actually 2 years ago, the co-founders, Max and Arhan, that was their idea, was like, let's make credit accessible for Gen Z. And then they went through and they kind of like looked at it and they're like, oh, actually, like the issue is not that Gen Z is like not having, the issue is that they're not having access to transferable rewards because they have no credit. So like, what if we just got rid of the credit card?
Yeah.
Um,
Middleman.
right, and just buy. And so since we are not like a financial product, we're not tied in any way to that. It actually, Miles and More is the first big coup, I want to say, that we've done, that as a direct result of having that. And it's such a boon and such a capability. But it also means, like, for example, like a lot of these big US airlines are tied into exclusive co-brand relationships. So like United with Chase and Delta with Amex. Well, we're not a financial product. So it doesn't, we're not part of that conversation. So yeah, I mean, we have no plans ever of launching that because it would endanger all those transfer partnerships. So that's how we got Miles and More. And you're right, like the value prop for Miles and More is ridiculous. It's insane. The 88-mile flights are like not uncommon. Like that's, you can go on Seesaw Arrow and you can just scroll through the results. It's so cool.
Really what I was doing.
It's like, it's insane. And so you do have high taxes and fees because Lufthansa, they totally surcharge you. But benefits, super low output, con obviously high taxes and fees. Really generous award availability because we don't have a lot of US consumers clogging up all the market. Well, we didn't.
Yeah.
Um, so tons of award space all the time. And then also Lufthansa specifically restricts access to its first class product. Like, again, so on Seats.Aero, it's like the Lufthansa first class finder. And as somebody I've managed it twice, and it's always like day of or like maximum 3 days before, like you have to drop everything and reroute all your plans to try and get it with a partner award. But like I made a post yesterday for a flight next June with 2 seats available. It's just there, just like widespread. So that's really cool. I mean, it's not a cheap booking, and it never will be. But if that's on your bucket list, now there's access to it.
Yeah. And then like, it's all relative compared to buying it outright. Like we're still saving
I
tons.
don't have 20 grand for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool.
That's amazing. And I know you probably won't be able to share details, but I'm just interested, like what's like the vision for the future? I mean, in a way, you guys have just hit the ground running, and I know there's going to
Yeah.
be so much more to come. So I know whatever you're able to share generally, like what's the vision and goal for Rove?
So the end goal, the big idea is, so our tagline is the first universal airline mile. So, like in, for example, Hong Kong, you can do Cathay Pacific, you can earn Cathay Pacific Asia miles basically everywhere on everything. Any purchases, it's not just travel related, it's just a currency. Same sort of ish with Avios within Europe. So we want to do that, but for the whole world. So that is the end goal for Rove.
Yeah.
Um, Near future plans, we have a lot of things coming up. So we don't have an app right now. Our app is almost done. It'll be done pretty soon. Before the end of the year, it should be launching. I'll tell you, I went to a conference in September in Chicago to train Woo transfer partners, and and we were a fairly small team, but I went to this conference in Chicago, and at the same time, the rest of the team rented a villa in Bali to complete the app. And I was like,
Chicago
I mean,
versus Raleigh.
I was like, I'm traveling for work, but like, I want to travel for work the way you travel for work. Um, but yeah, so they're working really hard on it. It's in those final stages. It's a pretty cool product. So the app is coming out. We also have a ton of new features that are on the roadmap. We have something called card linked offers that's going to be launching pretty soon. Should also be before the end of the year. And the way that that will work. So you're familiar with like built dining, Rakuten dining,
Yep.
AA dining,
Yep.
blah 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 blah.
Portals.
So we're gonna have an arm of that, which would be like Rove dining, say. And it's obviously in the way that it works is you link your card and then you go out and you get automatic Rove miles.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But the more exciting part is different networks from like Built and everybody else. So that's good, different restaurants. And then we also have the ability, and this is really cool. So it's in-store shopping without the need for activation. So the way right now, so in-store shopping is pretty limited.
Mhm.
Like for example, in Rakuten, it's an option, but you have to activate it, add it to your card.
Hard to search it too on
It's
the
super freaking annoying. I don't even bother, honestly, and that don't tell. Actually, sorry, I said that. I maximize every dollar I spend always. Um, but yeah, so it's just really annoying. Capital One has it, same thing, but you have to activate it. It's only valid for like a week. So ours will be just there will be some limited ones that you may have to activate based on merchant, but basically it's just link your card and forget it. And then every time you go shopping, if it's on our ginormous partner network, like, and it's like 20,000 stores, you swipe your card and you get automatic Growth miles. So it's a really big one. Like if you're an in-store shopper, like that's something that would have been inaccessible to you previously.
inconvenience.
Um, yeah, it's like so convenient and you don't have to worry about it, and then of course they add up a lot more quickly when you don't have to bother with it. So that's coming up. We have a bunch of other stuff. We're obviously adding new transfer partners as we go. We're doing a lot of wheeling and dealing and negotiating to build our roster, and realistically, we only launched in April, but since April, we've had like tons and tons of growth. Obviously, if people see the value, and that looks really attractive. That looks really attractive to people and airlines and hotels and things like that. They can see their value in it and being a partner with us. So, and then other features too, but they're coming later and we'll talk about that
Yeah.
maybe next year.
You
So,
can't spill all the beans right now.
yeah. Yeah.
So launch. This theme of what you guys are doing is really, I don't know what's the right positive or cool, unique, innovative, because there's a lot of the typical shopping portals. They're popping up all the time and they're, wooing me with just a $20 bonus here and there. But
Yeah.
they're kind of all the same, right? They're on the same networks. I have to choose when I go to a restaurant that we like locally. Okay, which miles do I want to earn now? AA miles, Rakuten, whatever it is. So it sounds like, again, the theme sounds like you're doing all the things, but better, right? You're adding the extra step. And it's not just we'll give you more money for a bonus, or we'll have this one cool thing that like might fade away one day or people can copy. Like you're creating this network that's unique, and whether it's the other restaurants and the convenience of it, Lufthansa, it just sounds really cool. And I'm excited talking about this. It sounds like you're really excited.
Yeah.
What out of all this, like what really excites you? Like what motivates you to do all this? I'm sure part of it's your own points and miles behaviors and strategies, but what else can you share there?
Yeah. I mean, so I joined the team in, I want to say June. And I have to tell you, so I stumbled across it. Previously, I've been in traditional like media for a long time, like Upgraded Points, the Points Guy, Word Wallet, et cetera, et cetera. So I was writing an article and I stumbled across Rove. And at first I was like, what is that?
Just
And then I
another
like,
company, right?
yeah, I was like, sure, like they're gonna, give them 6 months, And then I started looking at it and I was like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
And then I went on Rove Miles and I was like, look at these multipliers. And I was like, and it's a one-to-one transfer. So as soon as I realized sort of what was going on, I cold reached out to Max, the CEO,
Mm.
and I was like, "Can I feel like we could talk." I was like, "I love what you're doing. I think this is so cool. I think here are all of these things that we could work on." Thank God I got in there before it, like when it was early enough. I don't think he was as inundated with emails as he probably is now. But I had a meeting and I got in and I was like, please, let's talk about it. Like, here's what's great about the product here. I have a lot of experience in the points and miles, like whatever. So I really believe in Rove.
Yeah.
And so that really excites me. I obviously, as a points and miles person, the ability to make my own platform is so cool. And I'm really plugged in, like all my friends are in points and miles, and so I'm able to go to them and talk about it and they can give me feedback. So it feels like it's one big hive mind sort of thing where we're all sort of creating the platform we wanted to see.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I love that the team is small. I love that we're so agile. You know what I mean? Like we launched loyalty eligible in its first iteration on the 14th, and then on Saturday we had the second iteration already. Like where it's like,
Yeah, you guys are
you know,
really moving.
yeah, 100%. So that's what drives me. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I think also, I'm super heavily biased towards points and miles, but we also have a really, really strong foundation that's really good for young people. And so I do have a much, much younger brother who is in fact Gen Z.
Yes.
So like it's nice to also be able to build something that he can access, even though he's in college and he doesn't, I think he has, no, he does, he has a secured Capital One card, I think. You know what I mean? So something that he can access to, even though we're in an ever degrading world of points and miles, the fact that there's something that he has access to and will continue to have access to, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You have
Yeah.
that personal connection. And my follow-up question was going to be like, how do you listen to your customers, get their feedback? But it sounds like you're already uh
Oh yeah.
breathing and living it right now.
Yeah. We have, so we have a Facebook, if you don't mind me plugging it, the Rove
Yeah.
Insiders Facebook group is where I solicit a lot of feedback. Just sort of like, and it's growing. It's like growing really well. We're doing meetups and things like that. So in-person stuff, but it's also like who would you like to see as an next transfer partner? What kind of shopping promos do you want to see? What features do you think we're missing? We've got like an in-depth survey. We're doing calls, like what do you want? Stuff like that. So yeah, we're really listening, really listening and actually making changes based off of what we hear.
All right. I will plug that, on the screen and join it
Thanks.
myself. If I can give unsolicited feedback, one
Oh
idea
yeah.
playing around with the other banks and people is just you already have transfer bonuses, which is crazy, right? And you're doing it better. I guess this is another differentiator, right? Like the banks will do around a month of a transfer bonus. You guys are doing it for way longer for Finnair. But one thing I've always thought about is Amex has like their selected preferred airline that you can get the incidental credits for right on the platinums. If we could do something with transfer partners, like my selected airline is Air Canada, so I will always get a 5% bonus. I've been sharing the idea with as many people as I can, so feel free to steal that. So that was one of my thoughts.
That's actually interesting. Let
All
me
right.
write that down. Actually, I
do
really
it,
like
do
that.
it, steal it. I don't, you don't have to give me credit. Like
Yeah,
I would just love to
I'll give
have.
credit.
I always transfer to Air Canada for Star Alliance, United flights. So if I'm always transferring there, like give me
Yeah,
something. Even 2% is a little bit of extra.
yeah.
Um, but
Thanks. Okay.
I do have a harder question for you. So
Yeah,
I know like you can get a lot of points with hotels. But my style of travel is just all my chase points. I call them pre-Hyatt points. Even if
yeah.
it's a bad valuation, right, 1.3
You're still
maybe,
gonna do it.
let's say, right, I'm still gonna book because I just don't want to pay for that Hyatt
Yeah.
hotel. So, but I do feel a little FOMO. I'm not gonna buy this hotel
Yeah.
in cash. I'm gonna get so many miles. What would you say to me or people like me that at least on the hotel front, I'm always just going to be using points or at most travel credits on the Venture X? Like, are we still your target
Uh,
demographic, or there's still ways we can
I
use?
would tell you to keep that. Don't give that up. I mean, I would tell you to start doing the math.
Mhm.
So it's not a bad CPP. And then I would tell you to use Rove for flights. And I would tell you to use Rove for shopping so that when it is a bad cent per point value, you have a ready stash of Rove miles, which you could then redeem for
Mhm.
so that you have no out-of-pocket cost still.
Still, yeah.
And then if it's a loyalty eligible rate and you're redeeming Rove miles for it, it's a flat, I want to say 1.5 cents on Rove miles for loyalty eligible.
Yeah.
It's a fine value, it's not outsized.
No.
But the cool thing about that is you're redeeming your Rove miles for 1.5 cents each. and then you're still earning your Hyatt points or whatever because it's counted as a cash booking.
Yeah, so
That's
that
what I
you
would tell you.
and plus I'm global, so I get that 30%. So yeah, really, really dig deep into the math. But
Yeah,
that's no, that's a good response because there's some redemptions I've done that are less than 1.5, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I have so many high
yeah. I mean,
high points. Let's do it.
yeah, I would do. I mean, that would be my personal strategy. I also obviously I'm losing globalist next year, but for now I'm a globalist. I'm mourning. But so I oftentimes don't want to pay cash. If I don't have to, I'm not going to pay cash.
Yeah.
But there are cases where it really just galls me to have to waste my chase points and my Hyatt points on those sort of redemptions, but I still don't want to pay money. So that would be a really good use case for that. But you need to have Rove miles available, and to do that, you need to
I
do
need to build
flights
that
and
up.
or shopping.
Yeah,
So
no, that's good feedback. I'll definitely need to look into it more. And yeah, as you said, do the math, do the calculation, and then Max will just let you get the high business cards, spend 120K, and then boom,
honestly,
you're there.
please and
Good
thank you.
marketing, man.
Yeah.
All right. And I know you've shared a lot of new features. We've talked about, again, a lot of cool things. Is there anything that we've missed or you want to harp more on that maybe is your personal favorite or just not as many people know about that they really should?
I will say this. I never pictured myself being a person who redeems like rewards in portal or on platform.
Hmm.
Uh, I have I have transferred some of my Rove miles, but I have done weirdly a large amount of hotel bookings on Rove,
Yeah.
redeeming my Rove miles, and that's because when we have a high commission, so when you have a high earn multiplier, it also means you have a high cent per mile value. So, for example, I had 2 nights before my hotel stay in the Maldives that I needed to do in Malé. And I didn't want to pay cash. And I found a resort right next to Malé. It was like a 10-minute speedboat through Rove, and my cent per mile was something like 4 cents per mile.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that I still feel like I'm getting a good value. It's something that I would have had to pay cash for otherwise because there were no other good options.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that.
Because if you're in the game, you really have to be good at math and see that value, make
Yeah.
those choices. So
Yeah.
it's great that the value's still there. Well, um, thank you so much for sure. I feel like I just got punched with so much information. Like I already
So
researched and
good.
learned, but I still learned a lot here, and I'm excited for what you guys have in the future. What other? So you plug the Facebook group, Rove Insiders. What are some other things you want to plug, share? I'll put them on the screen, just so
So
people can stay, updated, connected.
So we've got Rove Insiders. We're starting to do monthly meetups. So if anybody wants, I did a poll like, what do you want us to go next? So there's that. We also have our socials. Instagram, it's at Join Rove. TikTok, it's Rove Miles at Rove Miles. And we have a Reddit r/Rove Miles. It's all me. It's all me on all the things. Oh, and in our Facebook group, we have access to a private Discord, where we talk about stuff that is too secret for anything else. Miles maximizing, travel wins, new features, other stuff like that. That's in the Discord. Uh, Other than that, the Chicago seminars is going to be our last event for this year, aside from the meetups. But we're going to be in. Oh no, Zorkfest. Do you know Zorkfest?
No.
It's in December. It's a actually a really really cool thing. It's casino slash points and miles. It's in Vegas the first weekend of December. I think the 5th to the 7th. We are sponsoring and I'm speaking. And it's interesting because it's not a super common mixture, but it's like casino comps, gambling your way to free stuff, uh, and or status matching, whatever, plus points and miles. And everybody who is a huge like industry person, like is at Zorkfest. So if anybody wants to go and like meet like all of the faces behind the names that they see everywhere, they're at Zorkfest.
All right, that's a
So
that's a great call out.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a really cool.
the cruises and casino stuff is a whole
Yeah,
conversation that we should can look into next
it's yeah, it's a I've done all the crew. I've done all the as much as one can. I've done.
Yeah, for
So
me it was more of like I don't have enough time to take off to go on all these, but now it's shut down for me.
yeah, yeah, give it a few years.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah,
again, Carissa, thank you so much for your time, and yeah, we'll have fun at all the different events. I'm excited to see what Rove has next.
yeah. Thanks. It was great talking to you.